Hello, y'all. Grown black folks talk. Clay is malleable. Black women are human and therefore are not. And I made this video while I was sitting up at Alta Vista Park today, but then I decided I got a little message when I got back home. And because that message made me so very happy from a subscriber, you know who you are, that made me so very happy, I decided to change the view of this video just a little bit. There was a video, and I'm not going to name the creator. Black men were sitting around talking about we do want to be with black women, but we need black women to be more malleable. Short answer, no. Medium answer, that's blasphemy. Long answer, let me explain. Malleability is the quality of clay and some metals to be pushed, pulled, twisted, beaten into a shape that it will take permanently. So anytime one human being wants another human being to be malleable, that's what he's saying. Now, it could be that that's not the right word. Maybe the word that was being sought was cooperative, submissive. But when you start talking about malleability, you are talking about putting a permanent dent in someone for your own purposes. That's what that would mean. This would also explain why black men want very, very young women whose minds are not fully grown yet before the age of 25, hoping to put a permanent groove in some woman's brain. It's also called grooming. And I don't think that these particular men realize how much they have been influenced by 40 years of a culture of predatory behavior through music, through culture. I don't know if they were aware. They seemed in many ways to be men of decency in some ways, but they don't have the vocabulary to know what it is they really want. Cooperative, but the cooperative means co with operating, meaning we are operating together as equals. That is the definition of cooperation. Malleability is what you do with clay, which brings you to the next thing. That's blasphemous. The only person who made man out of clay and was allowed to make a human being out of clay and allowed anyone else to do it, God only makes human beings. Only one time, malleable. Any man who wants that position in your life wants God's spot. But see, here's the thing, black women inherently are not malleable. They're human beings. We can be convinced, deceived, persuaded, but we cannot be beaten into position and kept there. It is interesting, and history proves this. Slavery ended within 3 generations of black women arriving here in mass. The movement to get there from inside the black community started with black women. We became the reason, and our children became the reason. And we can know that because of the 180 years ahead of it, where black men, sadly enough, were turned to the ground approximately every 7 years and replaced. But it was the stories and the strength of black women that changed the game. In Haiti, notably, the goddess who influenced the deity was Izili Danto. Now, I don't recommend this, but it is recorded that this is who Boukman got in contact with. He needed to be in contact with some being that he considered female to be motivated to do this. Now, the Bible actually never speaks of female demons. That's too long a conversation for today. But there are definitely, we know that there are definitely spirits that appear male and female. But in African thought, you do have the idea that there are masculine energies and feminine energies. You don't have to go, but you can look across history and you can actually see this occurring, that it is necessary for humanity to have both aspects working at the same time. And since black men were here alone, they were not able to come to freedom alone. Well, the United States colored troops and all those unnamed United States colored troops nurses, because white women were not going to nurse them, too. We're not going to have our children forever and a day unless we have been broken beyond repair. This evening, a young woman got in contact with me. Details I give none, except to say that I am glad that I am in a position to be a sufficient light to help other people find a way out from being misused by Black men who want malleable women, or by Black men that do not have sense enough to provide the cherished protection a human being should have from being abused by others. One of the last times that I ever saw Coriander Yander online, there's a very contrary gentleman from the manosphere, and she said, "Good, go do that in public, because the more often you do that, the more young women will find me." It is true that Black women are human. It is true that Black women therefore have a right to freedom. It is true that it is better for women to remain single than to be married according to scripture. Those three things are true. So men who want to play God and have a woman be clay. I learned this from Uppity Uniform. You talk about the 5%ers, nations of gods and earths. Again, gods over the earth that they can make of what they will, whether you talk about Kronos and Gaia or Genesis 1. Same thing. And the truth that you as a Black woman can reject all that and find out why God actually put you here will continue to go forward. And as time passes, Black women like me, looking as I look, at the age that I am, and living a good life and doing what I want to do, will continue to get to younger and younger women. And they will realize they do not have to spend any of their life dealing with men who want to play God in a sandbox with mud. Y'all have a good weekend now. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.